Welcome back to Desk Careers. I am so excited to bring another incredible guest. Today we are meeting with Anita Nouri, who is the CEO of Green Energy Solutions and Sustainability LLC. Welcome, Anita. It's so great to have you with me today.
Thanks, Maria. It's great to be here.
Super excited to be talking about the work that you do. Really thrilled to be collaborating with you in helping young people and raising motivation, inspiration around your career and the industry, helping students to really understand what they're learning and why they're learning it. But before we get into those details, let's go on a journey backwards. I want to take you back to your younger years when your academic interests were more related to psychology and early childhood education. Can you remember those days?
Oh, yeah. So, I'm born in Canada, raised in Canada, Armenian background, and I was always a type of personality that was interested in many, many different topics, sort of a jack of all trades, master of none. At the time in school, I worked at a nursery school, and so I liked that, and I thought, okay, that's what I want to do. I want to go into early childhood education, and I also was always interested in psychology and what makes people think, what makes people do what they do, and that funny enough has actually helped me a lot today in this world here in this part of the country, because everything that's happening to us now is because of what we have done. So we've put ourselves in our own predicament, basically, and that's what sustainability and sustainable solutions is all about. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But going to school and university and finishing this has always been a priority growing up as a family, as with my parents, with me, with my children, and it's very, very critical. But I've always said and tried to live by the fact that don't let that piece of paper define who you are. Mm-hmm. So education is a tool that is necessary, and it's a privilege for a lot of people. Some people don't have the privilege of going to school, but it does teach you how to get from point A to point B and the steps that you take. And you can adapt that into anything. And if you can find your passion, which I feel that the youth of today have that opportunity where we didn't have that opportunity. We were sort of cubbyholed into, you're a girl, you'll get married, you will work for a while, and then you'll have babies. I mean, I'm aging myself, but that is basically what we were told. Where now you're not cubbyholed like that. We've been able to escape those chains and hopefully not go wild, but actually move forward in life and enable other young women and men and people of all nationalities and all colors to move forward. Like, let's not look back and try and decide what mistakes we made. I think we should look forward and try and make a better world. And there, I'm starting to ramble.
No, that's great. I really love the journey you're taking us on. And it is important to remember that our academic accomplishments are a privilege and not a privilege available to everyone around the world. And I think sometimes young people are on that autopilot of, I'm going to secondary school, of course I'll go to university, and then what will I do? I'll try and figure it out along the way. So in becoming more aware of that, I think is essential for both adults and young people. But continuing on your journey back to when you were a younger teenager, when you were thinking forward, did you ever think one day I'm going to be the CEO of an energy solutions organization? Or if not, when did that come along for you?
Well, okay, so that's a good question. It's a little bit of a loaded question because I have always been and am, and this is a personality thing, and people have this in them, because some people, I really, have you ever read Plato's The Republic? Where people are like sort of you are what you are, you're born into a type of a personality. In a way that is true, because I have never been like, I find it difficult to define what I am. I never thought I would be doing what I'm doing, but I always thought that I would be not sitting at a desk working 24 hours a day, or 8 hours a day, whatever. But there are some people that like that comfort. There are some people that are trapped by that comfort. And there are some people that don't really know what they want and are too scared to make the decision. So my personality is, I'm not scared of anything. I figure the worst that someone can say to me is no. If I could turn that no into a, well, maybe we'll look at it, then you're on the path to what you want to be. So I've never cubbyholed myself. So when I went to school and I studied psychology, I liked it, but I also liked the maths and sciences, but I didn't have the qualifying academics to get into medicine, which would have been like something that I'm interested in. But unfortunately, the way that the education system is, you get defined by a number. And I never liked that about it. So I never let myself be defined by that number. So I went to school, I did what I had to do, but then I always looked outside. I always looked outside the box. And I've always been a type of person that likes to help and teach and see what I can do and make a difference. And we had the opportunity to come here to Dubai, and I saw a huge opportunity, and that put me on my path that I'm on today. What I did in Canada after school, I worked at a bank, and from there I got married. I had children. I saw an opportunity in construction, and with my husband, we started a construction company. I knew nothing about it. I taught myself about it. I did take some online engineering courses just because it was interesting. Never really got a degree in engineering, but I never let that stop me, because in the end, it's really more what you do, luckily, and the success that, if you do the right job, that job speaks for itself more than the piece of paper that's hanging on the wall, because there will come a point in time that nobody looks at that paper anymore. I mean, I don't really know where my diploma is right now. It's sort of lost in space, but it doesn't really matter. It's what you do. The other big lesson that I would like to leave you and your students with is that COVID has taught us that, okay, school is good and you graduate, but then what? My daughter graduated university with a degree, and she moved back to Dubai from Canada, and the world shut down. And her degree, she could have sat here and cried and said, oh, my degree is in travel and tourism and the whole industry is gone. Or she could have found, well, okay, maybe I can do something else. So she took the skills that she learned and she went into a PR company and is doing something completely different that she never thought of, that she found her passion and she loves. So we can find 10 things to cry about every day, but we can also find 10 things to celebrate every day. So let's look at what we can celebrate instead of looking at, what has COVID done? Let's look at what COVID has taught us and what opportunities it has brought us. The fact that you and I are sitting here on a Zoom call would not have happened 2 years ago. It might have, but I mean, it probably wouldn't have. And the reach that we have today, we would not have reached 2 or 3 years ago, because we were on a path, and that path actually destroyed some people, but it also enabled the youth to find a voice. And I think that I would like to support that continuing, because young people, people under 30 are the ones that are going to get us through this. We caused COVID. We caused all these disasters, all of the things that are happening to the world, and all of these sustainable solutions that we're looking for, they actually exist. We just have to sort of dig through the piles of garbage that we've built up and find them. We used to be sustainable. The world was sustainable. It's not a difficult thing to do. It's just being thoughtful. When I first came to Dubai, I completely went off topic, but when I first came to Dubai, I saw an opportunity with waste management, and we talked about sustainability, about recycling, about reusing and reducing plastic waste. And it was really a difficult journey and a lot of hurdles, because it's an education that you have to support in a country that grew so fast and so big that it didn't have time to take care of its garbage. Because when you grow that fast, you create a lot of mess behind you. So in fixing that, it became a big challenge. But I'm happy to say that now everything we tried to talk about 10 years ago, they're actually doing. So sustainability has come to the forefront. Renewable energies is on the rise. Solar, like, look at what they're doing with the solar and the solar parks. It's great. Solar, is it the answer? Is it the solution? No. Is wind the solution? No. Is the world going to run on renewables 100%? No, it actually can't. But what we can do is support and diversify that energy mix by using fossil fuels. We'll always need fossil fuels, but we can reduce the impact of that by adding renewables to it. And it should join together. We should work together holding hands rather than someone, trying to control. This is what we've learned. Control and having a monopoly doesn't work. But if all of us open our minds and hold hands and work together, we all want the same thing. Everyone on this whole planet wants to be safe, live good, breathe clean air, have food, and have water. We all want that. So let's work together. And I'm sure that your school has students from all parts of the world. This is the wonderful thing about Dubai, is that you can be in a classroom or be in a room and you can sit with people from 60 different countries, and all of us can bring our experiences, and together we can make a huge difference. That's why having the expo in this part of the world is really important, and it's wonderful because it shows and showcases what the world, when it works together, what it can do. I think we have to think and dream big. I mean, not go wild, but dream big and try your best.
I do want to come back to your story, Anita. I think it's very important. I love the theme. I love what you're saying, and definitely things that young people need to hear more of.
This is my story, Maria. This is my story. This is what I've done. This is what I do every day. When I first came here, I went to the top people and I told them, this is what I want to do. And nobody said no. They said, oh, really? Can you? You want to try it? Go ahead. And that's the wonderful part of living in this part of the world. No, no one will say no to you.
But it takes a certain
it
takes a certain kind of confidence to be able to do that. Who in your life taught you that confidence? Where did you learn that type of confidence? This is something young people don't learn in a classroom. I know that you said it's your personality, but where in your journey did you realize, hey, I have the confidence to get up and ask questions. I have the confidence to try and find an opportunity when somebody says no? Or did you have a role model that taught you?
That's a good question. I think confidence is built through failure. I mean, some people will fall off the horse and never ever get back on it because they're scared. Some people will get on it and tie themselves to it because they're scared. And some people will just pull the saddle off the horse and jump on it and go flying. Um, but the whole important part is to get back up on that horse. And I guess I would say my mom, from a very young age, she was never the type of person that pushed us with academics and you have to do your homework, you have to do this, you have to do that, which is maybe not a good thing. But she was always the type of person that if we didn't want to do something or felt, oh, I'm tired today, I'm sick, I don't want to do this, she would always like throw you into it and say, no, sorry, you got to do it, go. And like no sympathy for weakness.
Fantastic. So it sounds like it was more of a subtle learning of confidence, getting you back up again. Let's talk more about your company. You're the CEO of Green Energy Solutions and Sustainability. Tell us what the organization is known for here in the region, and what are you doing to educate not just young people, but people in general to get on board sustainability?
So Green Energy Solutions and Sustainability is a company that I founded with my husband. We started it. We have local partner, of course, and we have our investor, and they've supported us in being able to achieve our goals. What we did was establish and pioneer the first landfill gas to energy project in the region. The Crusades Landfill is a landfill that is at the border of Sharjah and Dubai. It's a mountain. You can see it off of the 311 highway. And it receives over 9,000 tons of municipal solid waste a day. It's the garbage of Dubai ends up there. And the waste in Dubai is very high in organics. And those organics, as they decompose, anything that's carbon-based decomposes, and that generates gas. And it's a greenhouse gas, methane, that's 28 to 30 times more harmful than CO2. In the rest of the world, in Europe, it's a mandate. In North America, in Canada, and United States, we degas the landfills and we use that gas to generate power. And I thought to myself with my husband, well, why are they not doing that here? We worked in the industry in Canada with recycling a little bit and mostly in road construction. But we used to dump on a landfill. That landfill turned into a golf course, and that golf course is now a golf club. Is very expensive to join, and it's also being degassed and it's generating power. And all the homes that are built around it are now worth millions of dollars because it's beside this beautiful golf course. A lot of people 30 years after the fact don't realize that that golf course is built on a dump site. And why not, they did something good out of something that was a harm. So we thought, why can't we do that here? And that's how we started with basically, why not? And I'm lucky that I have a wonderful and a supportive husband who was born in the Middle East, moved to Canada, and never thought he'd come back to the Middle East, but I sort of made him come back. And we've worked hard and have achieved a lot of things. So we're degassing that landfill, we're generating power from the gas, and we're running our site operations and providing power to Dubai Municipality site with the gas from the landfill. And we're reducing the impact of that landfill by over 300,000 tons of CO2 emissions a year, which is the same as taking like 100,000 cars off the roads. Our goal is not to create more landfills, but to be able to slowly close the landfills, degas them, use that gas to generate power, and use that power for something good. And at the same time, show and showcase the fact that so much waste is going into the landfill. So much plastic is in the landfill. So much waste that people throw out without thinking. Like if I challenge all of you, everyone who listens to this podcast, and even you yourself, look in your garbage bin and see what you're actually throwing out every day, and multiply that by 9,000 tons. And that's what's ending up at the landfill. When we separate our waste, if we don't separate it properly, and you put food waste into the plastic bin, it contaminates that plastic, and then it can't be recycled. And all it takes is 10 seconds of someone thinking and saying, okay, well, let me do the right thing. If you multiply that by a billion people, you do make a huge difference. Why are we still using straws in this country? Even the straw that says I'm not plastic, why are we using that? Why can't we just drink from a cup? Why are we having so much plastic waste in throwaway food containers? There are food containers that are made out of recycled paper that we can use, but they cost a little bit more. So when economics gets involved into sustainability and recycling, economics wins, unfortunately, and recycling gets pushed to the back. But if we realize that that few small pennies make such a huge difference and an impact on our future lives, then we make the right decisions. That's why I'm so excited by young people getting involved in sustainable solutions, because young people, their decision, your decision, is 100% different than my decision. At 60, what I decide is totally different than what someone who's 20, because the person who's 20 has another 60 years to go. So they'll think about what they're doing. Whereas when we have leaders who are 80 years old, their vision is only 5 years in front of them. They don't really, not that they don't care, but they're not really making their decision on a 50-year plan. That's why when you see the UAE as a government and as a leadership, they're putting young people into decision-making positions. I think it's wonderful, and I think it's something that we should celebrate and be so happy and proud of, the fact that we have ministers who are in their 20s and early 30s that are making decisions, and they're making plans for 2071. Like, imagine, I won't be here, you might be, like, that's great, but I won't be here. So my decision will not look that far into the future. So I think that the students of today in sustainability, I think it should be part of the curriculum. It should be inbred into everything that they do. I think it will make an absolute difference in the future of our planet, and everything can only change by the youth taking action, not being scared. Make your voice heard. Tell your parents, don't do this. Don't throw everything out. Think about it. Electric vehicles are great, but are they really that great? What happens to those batteries when they get thrown out? Because batteries have a life. Do we think about that? Or do we just think about the fact that, oh, I'm saving money and I'm not buying gasoline and I'm using an electric vehicle and it's really cool? Is the combustion engine, a gas engine, the best engine? Maybe not. Why not use hydrogen? That's much better. Okay, but it explodes. But we have young people who can think and find ways to not make it explode. Like, let's think about it. Let's talk about it. If we talk about it together, maybe we can come up with some solutions. Talk to your grandparents who used to fix the chairs when they broke rather than throw them out and buy new chairs from IKEA. Find out why they fixed it, what they used to do, how they used to live. This is all important because this is what will help us. So school is important, education is critical, listening to each other is even more important, making decisions that impact 10, 15, 20 years from now is also important. And when we started our company, Green Energy Solutions and Sustainability, part of that was for the future. And I thought that it's a company that can grow beyond me and I can sit back and watch it grow because we're coming up with sustainable, real solutions, not just greenwashing solutions. And maybe it's not going to remain as a landfill gas company. Maybe it will expand into other renewable energy solutions, or maybe it will turn into, like you said, a TED Talks kind of a company that I just go around spreading the word. But we need to listen to each other, and this is what our vision and our mission is, and this is why I came here.
Sounds amazing. And what I'm hearing you say is our young people and anybody should really begin to become reflective inquirers and really thinking about their own positionality and the impact that we have as individuals in the wider world and the environment. Anita, this was an absolutely incredible conversation that took us on a different route to what I thought it would be. And I absolutely love that it did. And I believe that what you're talking about is connecting to what your top tips were and finding the passion. I can hear the passion that you have, not just for what you do, but for the big why you do it and the impact that it will have. I would challenge you, though, on the thought of the older generation also helping to create rules and regulations and policies. I do believe that if you are an individual, regardless of your age, if you are an individual that is really connected to the bigger impact, it doesn't matter whether you'll live to see 2070 or not. It's understanding that every chance we have, everything we do has an impact, and what type of an impact we want to have, regardless of whether we will live it. But I do believe that young people should be more involved and actively more involved, as opposed to passively waiting for positions to open up. So I appreciate that you brought that into this conversation. I love that you said, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
We could go on forever and ever. I know I'm so conscious about this.
I just want to say one thing. So when I said that about older people, so I'm 62 years old. I'm proud of that. So I still make decisions thinking like 20, 30, 40 years in the future, because I figure they'll find a way that I can live until I'm 150. So, but there, but don't let, the leadership of this country is older. They're more my age and older than me, but they're enabling and allowing the youth to make decisions.
Definitely.
That's what I mean.
And you're absolutely
all of us
target.
Talking and holding hands together. Like, I support my kids in anything that they do, and any young people, you're all welcome to ask me any questions. I'm always there.
And thank you for being here, Anita. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This brings us to the end of another incredible conversation. We were speaking with Anita Nouri, the CEO of Green Energy Solutions and Sustainability here in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. I'll see you all at our next GESS Careers Digital Spotlight.